Okay. Okay, spot on. I can do this. I can do this. Let's get this title. Are you serious, man? God damn! Okay. Let's get this title. 2 months ago, I discussed Deepwoken's stand-in for the Moon's Eye, and the tons of lore that it carries. Within that video, I stumbled across an astounding discovery. Deepwoken's sun, the Suncross, had zero reputable information about it, literally anywhere. I finished that video, sat down, and decided to take a peek at what I could find about the Suncross. There wasn't much, but what I did find led me down a rabbit hole that completely upends everything we think we know about the game. You ever wanted to know where light keeping comes from? I'll touch on that later. The Suncross is not something we should be understanding yet. The pieces simply aren't there, but I'm having a crack at it regardless. I'd like to say thanks to Mike Pike, our leading authority on the Suncross, for sharing what he knew and helping to lay the groundwork for this crazy theory of mine. This video started as a simple Suncross theory, but slowly ballooned into something much greater, a Frankenstein's monster of countless important beats in Deepwoken's story. This is my brainchild, the truth behind the sun, the moon, and the gift of light keeping. Oh, and remember to subscribe, just takes one click. Thank you, I appreciate it. Now, think about why you're asking questions about the Suncross and the Moon's Eye in the first place. It's because you've seen them in-game, isn't it? Well, however you think they rotate, it's wrong. The Suncross is below the heavens equally to how close it is to Lumen. It's equidistant. When Mike told me this, it didn't make much sense at all. If the Suncross is dipping into the depths, hell, if it's rotating around Lumen, how could it possibly be equally close to the heavens? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that there's clearly a contradiction here. It's not just this though. We know that the Suncross dips into the depths at some point, so we can't just set it on some random new axis to fit this plot hole. Well, I got to thinking, and remembered the diagram that Arch had drawn of Deepwoken's world literal years ago. In case you've never seen it, this is it, right here. If you haven't seen this before, it's probably very confusing. In short, the heavens and Lumen are split, divided by a layer of void fog and surrounded by multiple layers of the depths. When I pulled up this drawing, I realized that there was one remaining possibility as to the Suncross's real path of orbit. It's not rotating around Lumen, no, it's rotating above it. It's not sinking into the depths below, it's sinking into the depths from the side. When I marked this out and handed it to Mike Pike, he gave it to Arch and returned with this drawing. Arch drew this himself. This is canon. I had solved the true path of the Suncross. Well, it turns out that Arch had actually drawn this a year prior, and I'd just literally never seen it. I basically went through this whole process of deduction for nothing. Well, it does feel better to solve it yourself. They've also now officially changed the orbit of the Suncross and Moon's Eye in-game to be lore accurate. You're welcome, people. Back to the video. So, we now know the rotational patterns of the Suncross and the Moon's Eye. This is neat information to know, but it's far from a major breakthrough. Not yet, it's not. That's because nailing the orbit of the Suncross and Moon's Eye is only part of the bigger picture. As you know by now, the Suncross lore is unbelievably vague, and its presence in-game is largely restricted. This leads people to make wild conclusions around the few instances where it does actually appear in-game. The chief example of this is the Celestial, that's chained up in the Star Kindred church's basement. It's shaped like the Suncross. In addition, the recently added weapon Kindred's Edict is coated head to toe in Suncross imagery. Thankfully, there's an easy way to account for this. The Suncross isn't shaped like the tied-up Celestial. In fact, it's the opposite. The captured Celestial has been positioned like the Suncross by the Star Kindred. The Suncross comes first. This should be pretty clear already. I mean, they've literally set up a Suncross-shaped cross within a cocoon. The cocoon? Wait, that doesn't make any sense. There's a tear in the front of the cocoon too. Why would the Star Kindred make a cocoon for the Celestial with a tear in the front? Perhaps the Celestial arrived in the cocoon? Yeah, the Celestial fell from the sky, in the cocoon. The Star Kindred tore open the front of the cocoon and found a Celestial strung up inside, tied to a cross. The Suncross is not of this world. On one lonely day in the Eastern Luminant, a cocoon fell from the heavens and landed in the middle of Songseeker Wilds. Dragging this cocoon into the basement of the derelict High Church, The first Star Kindred tore open the front of the cocoon, unveiling a celestial strung up and nailed to a cross. A cross shaped like the sun in the sky. The Suncross. I have vastly underestimated the Star Kindred Church. That much is clear. It's my belief that they are responsible for the term Suncross. Why? Because the first celestial that fell from the sky was strung up to a cross resembling the sun in the sky. Thus, the sun now has a name. Now, it's entirely possible that the celestial we see in-game was not the first to descend, which I can get behind. But who said just one celestial fell from the sky tied to one of these sun crosses? Why, we have an example at hand. Neve. The book Vows by the Sea Inheritance states, Grimoire folklore speaks of the descent of Neve to this world, the nursing of the falling goddess back to life by a wandering nomad, and a vow made between this nomad and the celestial Neve. Neve was nursed back to health. Trust me when I say a celestial's not nearly dying to simple fall damage. I believe that Neve was also tied to one of these sun crosses, exiled, left to die, and to fall to the surface by her own kind. She was freed from her constraints by a nomad, which is why she is so uncharacteristically kind to humanity for a celestial. Why was she tied up and exiled by her fellow celestials in the first place? Well, it's anyone's guess, but the Lightborn Kaida, the former king of Constellia, provides us with an answer. Well, look at it this way. Your kind only knows of the celestials who fled to the surface following the heavens fall, and I can't imagine these celestials would have exactly wanted you to know about one of their exiles, so you'd have really little reason to know of him. It's entirely possible that Neve, alongside the other celestial that we see in-game, are merely exiles of the celestial race. Their contact with humanity following their exile from the heavens sparked the term Suncross, the sun now named after the very gods that fell from the sky in crosses. I'm not done yet either, for you see, there's a ministry NPC you can encounter in Mini-Tirza by the name of the Soothsayer, and he'll spout forbidden truths in return for your knowledge. Now, his responses are randomized, and he can spill cryptic dialogue about the Moon's-Eye, Etheron, Yanshul, and more. However, there's one response of his that's key here. It's kept vague, but it's about a wandering star. Also clear. The wandering star, its movement so calculated, its warmth, its light, such beauty, such intent. This is undeniably referring to the Suncross. The Moon's Eye is referred to separately, and I can't imagine another star in the sky known for warmth and light. However, that's far from the most interesting choice of language here. The Suncross is referred to as the Wandering Star, and the Soothsayer claims that its movements are calculated. Not just that, sorry, he claims that the Suncross is a product of intent. Tell me, does the Suncross, the Wandering Star, still sound like it's native to Lumen? That it's always been a part of Lumen? No, that's because it isn't. Why would the Celestials tie their exiles to crosses shaped like the sun in the sky? Who knows? What we do know now, though, is that the Suncross is alien, man-made. Think about it. The Moon's Eye was responsible for life, death, and rebirth before the depths arrived. The Suncross was responsible for seemingly nothing. Well, perhaps it holds no value beyond its light for humanity, but who's to speak for the Celestials? After all, where do the Celestials head when they die? Certainly not the Moon's Eye, as we know that the remaining souls in the Moon's Eye have been harvested into weapons. Surely the weapons in the Moon's Eyrie would rather feed on the soul of a Celestial than mere humans? So it can't be in the Moon's Eye. It's very possible that we'll never know where the souls of Celestials do head when they die, or perhaps Kaida has yet another secret for us. Where mankind modifies its surroundings with the song, the Celestials modify themselves. Your drinking of their ichor is no doubt to facilitate a vow that imitates how the Celestials accessed it. Maybe the Celestials deem themselves above an afterlife in the Moon's Eye. Maybe their modifications extended beyond simple tampering with genetics. Maybe, just maybe, the Suncross's calculated intent is to mimic the rotation of the Moon's Eye. Why? Well, the Celestials surely require their own divine afterlife. Perhaps that's why the Suncross shines so much brighter than the Moon's Eye. It's been lit ablaze by the resting of celestial souls. My deduction that the Suncross was created for the Celestial's afterlife could very well be incorrect. It wouldn't surprise me if the Suncross is more symbolic than one would assume. One must ask themselves, does the cross resemble the sun, or does the sun resemble a cross? Which came first? Perhaps the sun in the sky illuminates Lumen not as a gift, but as a stark reminder to those who fell from heaven. If the Suncross's beauty is rooted in celestial intent, we must question whether this intent is drenched in blood. After all, if you were an exiled celestial, would you not shiver if the corpse of the first celestial traitor hung shining in the sky? The Suncross is either a manufactured afterlife or the radiant corpse of a celestial traitor. What do you think?
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
That smells like a title.